One of the best ways to scale your e-commerce brand with Google Ads is to use the correct segmentation of your products. And the reason for why this tested strategy works time and time again is because it allows you to spend more budget on your high performing product categories, while also allowing you to limit the amount of spending on some of your product categories which are not converting. So you can limit the spending while you continue your optimizations to increase the conversion rates. And it also allows you to use different bidding strategies, especially around target ROAS or target CPA for different products. And this is especially important if you've got products that have different profit margins. So that way you can have different campaigns that have different conversion acquisition cost goals. So in this video, I'm going to show you the step-by-step process that you can use to segment your products in both shopping or performance max campaigns. But before we get to that step-by-step process, it's really important that you understand these three core principles when it comes to segmenting any type of products in your Google Ads account. Now, it's really important that you understand these three core principles, and that's why I wanted to start with them, because sometimes different campaigns are not actually needed. And what I really want to stress is that more campaigns does not necessarily mean better results. So don't think just by adding in some extra product segmentation and adding in some extra campaigns that you're going to instantly improve the performance of your account. Because if you're not segmenting your products in the right way or for the right reasons, it can end up actually costing you more money and seeing a reduction in your results. And because that's a really important topic, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to show you where you can access some extra training right here on YouTube. And then what I also want to do to help you further is, because it goes without saying, is that you not only need to be segmenting your campaign correctly, but you also need to be optimizing your campaigns the right way. And to make sure that you're not missing out on any optimization actions for your e-commerce brand, you can get access to my Google Ads e-commerce optimization checklist just by following the link in the description below. And that checklist takes you through all the different optimization actions you need to complete, and also lets you know how often you need to complete each action, because some optimizations need to be completed every week, whereas others are only completed every 60 or 90 days. So to get full access, just make sure you follow that link in the description below. But right now, here are those three core principles that you need to understand when it comes to segmenting the different products in your Google Ads account. And the first one is that your campaign structure needs to follow your website structure. With Google Ads leaning more and more into automated bidding strategies and releasing more AI capabilities into how their campaigns work and operate, having a really sound website structure is becoming increasingly important. Now, it's always been important, but it is becoming more and more important as we continue to go further down this path. And one of the main reasons for that is because when you have a good website structure in place, it then allows you to use some features like URL exclusions, where you can block off certain parts of your website so that you can then allocate which campaigns are advertising which product categories. That then allows you to get the full extent out of any type of product segmentation. And this website structure is becoming so important that now for me and my team, when we review any new accounts that we're looking to take on, one of the first places we look at is their website structure, because that will really dictate the number of campaigns and the type of campaign structures that we can use for their business. Let me show you a perfect example. Now, this first example would be for an e-commerce brand that has a whole heap of different product categories. And as you can see through here, with these categories, they've broken it into clothing, shoes, accessories, and then sport. But underneath each of these, you can see that they've then got all of these subcategories, like activewear, coats and jackets, pants, shirts. So they've got all of these different subcategories. And then when you go into these subcategories, you can see it gets broken down even further. And then also from here as well, they've even got it down into different men's categories and women's categories. So there's so many different options that you would have here in order to break out these campaigns. For a brand that has fewer different product categories, you don't need something as complex. So you can see for this one, they've just got their core different product categories. So baby, kids, and then they've got some different audios and some different lines of products, but it's all essentially the same product. So this brand would have a very different account structure versus this other larger product category brand. So before you think about any type of different product segmentation between your different product categories, remember to also take into account your current website structure, because that'll dictate some of the options and strategies that you can use use across the campaigns in your Google Ads account. The second core principle that you need to remember is that you always need to take into account your search themes and product relevance. The golden rule for success with e-commerce in Google Ads is that you want to have highly relevant product titles that are taking users through to highly relevant product pages. You want the user's search term to then see a highly relevant product title, which is taking them through to a highly relevant product page. Now, ideally, when you're looking at your Google Ads account, you only want one campaign targeting your products to the same audiences or locations. That doesn't mean that you would never have two different campaigns that are targeting the same products. What you want to make sure is that they're not targeting the same products to the same audiences in the same locations. So for example, I may have two campaigns which are targeting the same products, but I might have them segmented by audiences, where we might have a Performance Max campaign, which is focused on new customers. And then we might have a shopping campaign, which is more focused on bottom of the funnel, high intent searches. So yes, it's the same products, but we've got it separated out across two different campaigns. But the goal here is that you want to have products which are targeting the same search terms in the same campaign. Now, what some people will do is that they will break out underselling product variations into a separate campaign. But the problem can be, if you don't do this correctly, you can have the situation where you've got the same user search term being targeted across two campaigns. And what will end up happening, Google will favor the campaign that has the better conversion metrics, which means that new breakout campaign won't work anyway because the existing campaign is going to be taking the lion's share of the search terms. So let me give you an example. Let's just say you have a product category around wallets and you have an underselling product variation of blue leather that's just not selling. So rather than breaking that out into a separate campaign, what you can do is that if you're using shopping campaigns, you can break that out into its own ad group and then be really selective around your negative keywords, adding the blue leather product variation as negative keywords to all of the other ad groups. Or if you're using a Performance Max structure, you can add that blue leather product range into its own asset group so that if it continues to underperform, you can then pause it. So there are two options that you have dependent on whether you're using shopping or Performance Max. So firstly, remember, you want to follow the structure of your website. Secondly, you want to take into account the search terms. So if you've got different product categories that are still targeting the same search terms, most of the times you would still want them together in the same campaigns. And then finally, don't over segment your campaigns. And this is especially true for e-commerce brands that only have one product category. Don't think that you need to have multiple campaigns for success. And there's an e-commerce brand where we've been managing their Google Ads campaigns for well over 7 years, seeing month-on-month growth, and we still run a really, really simple campaign structure, which is essentially one campaign with 3 different ad groups or 3 different asset groups. We haven't needed to build out any extra campaigns for that account. And it comes back to that point that we spoke about before, where yes, they've got some different subcategories of products, but it's really only one search theme which targets all of those different products. So we don't see any benefit in order to break out new campaigns. So don't think that you need to add in different segmentations, because for some e-commerce brands, it's just not required. Because before you even think about any type of product segmentation before different campaigns, the reason for why you're doing that is because you want to scale the performance of your business. By adding different product segmentations, what you're doing is you're breaking up the campaign so you can better control the budgets, so that you can focus more spending on your high performing products. Or if you've got some high performing products that don't have much spending, you're breaking them out into a different campaign so that you can then increase the total revenue. But if you're not getting any sales to start with, adding in product segmentation is not going to do anything for the success of your account. So if you're in that situation where you're not getting any current sales, before you go down the path of product segmentation, you need to focus on those other 2 important elements for success with Google Ads, and that is your pricing and your policies, and also your landing pages. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll show you where you can access some extra training on that. So now, as promised, let's jump into the screen share so I can show you the process of how you can add in some extra product segmentation to your shopping and your Performance Max campaigns. So let's firstly start with the shopping campaign. So when you're in your shopping campaign, go into your ad groups. And then when you're in the ad group, if you go through here and click on the ad group, it'll bring you to this product section. And what you can do from here is when you scroll over this all product section, you'll see this little pencil icon come up. And what this will allow you to do is that you can then add in the segmentation by different brands or by different product types, or if you wanted, also by the IDs. And this is how this one is already done. And if we wanted wanted to add in some extra ones, it's just a matter of clicking these and then you can go through to this save option. Or for a Performance Max campaign, when you're in this campaign section, go into your asset groups. And then from here, when you're in your asset groups, what you can do is, you can see with this one, we've already broken it out into some different asset groups. But what you do through here, the way that you assign it is you go into your listing group, and then it's the same process like before. When you're in the listing group, click on this edit icon, and then you can do it by the item ID, the brand, or the product type. And even if you want to get more advanced, you can also add in some different custom labels. And that's the simple process that you can use to actually segment your products in your shopping and your Performance Max campaigns. Thank you for joining me. My name is Aaron Young from Define Digital Academy, and it has been an absolute pleasure having you here. And to help you further with this decision-making process on how to correctly segment your products, I want you to go through and watch this video right here, which takes you through the 4 different reasons for why you would add out different campaigns. And also, as promised, I did mention throughout that video, if you want to see extra information on how to create high converting landing pages for your products, go through and watch this video right here. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.